Hello there, and welcome to my channel. My name is Michael, and no matter what internet rabbit hole led you to this video, I'm glad you're here. I myself just ended up watching a video on logarithms, explained in a Bob Ross style, that felt like peak YouTube rabbit hole material. But I digress. This channel is not about mathematics, it is about stories and storytelling, and all of its incredible forms. Now, this being my first video that isn't just an audio recording of me reading the prologue of my novel, I should probably start out by saying a few words on who I am. So, who am I? Who am I? How did I even get here? Is this a simulation? Do the second and third Matrix movies still hold up? What should I eat for dinner tonight? How is Jack Black's dexterity to girth ratio even possible? And how do I get that? I'm an author and appreciator of all things science fiction and fantasy. I currently have one book out, that being The Work of Restless Nights. I also have a website with a blog where I talk about stuff in the sci-fi fantasy sphere I've read or watched of late. I imagine this channel will end up much the same, though, in video form. But before we get to that, I'd like to share a bit about my book. So, The Work of Restless Nights. If I had to condense it down into a tweet-sized, or I guess X-sized, I don't know what tweets are called anymore, but if I had to condense the book down into a one-sentence pitch, it would be this. As human beings become more machine-like, and machines more human, what then does it mean to be alive? Now, if I wasn't restricted to a single sentence, I would say it is a science fiction novel inspired by the likes of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, The Expanse series, and others. It has that neo-noir cyberpunk vibe, replete with a special agent investigating a murder. But this isn't just any murder. No, this is a killing performed by a robot, or bot as they're generally called in this story. It killed its owner out of what at first glance could be called spite. But of course, that couldn't be. Because by the year 2195, all bots are required to follow the moral code, a publicly agreed upon set of rules written into their programming. What's more, laws clearly dictate the level of sentience allowed in bots. Their emotions are only meant to be a simulacrum in service of humanity, an unfeeling facade to allow them to better fulfill humanity's desires, to bridge the gap over the uncanny valley. The murder could be a harbinger, a boogeyman made real, or perhaps even a boogeyman long real. That is the fear that goes unsaid in all the news reports claiming a run-of-the-mill malfunction. But it's Special Agent Wren's job to make that lie into truth, to keep the boogeyman locked in the closet, to keep bots controlled. How could people sleep peacefully at night if the service bot charging in the corner was anything more than a tool? Just as AI is feared, so too are its benefits too great to ignore. For the vast majority, the risk of true sentience, of revolt, isn't worth abolishing such technology. It's not worth cleaning one's own clothes or washing one's own dishes, let alone searching the entire library of collective human knowledge for tidbits of information without help. And so, like a gambler returning to the table, back to control, humanity comes, ready to roll the dice. To aid Special Agent Wren in her efforts, she has an assistive AI. Its implants extend throughout her body till the line between woman and machine is thinner than the space between neurons, than a blood vessel wall. The AI talks with her, guides her. It is a partnership, one that Wren has been feeling is unbalanced of late. She does her best to keep her own counsel, for if the suggestion of the advisor is always followed, who then is truly in control? The same question could be asked for all the companies whose human board members rely on their corporate AI for guidance, or even for governments, who all rely on their own AIs to oversee. Like a gambler returning to the table, back humanity comes, ready to roll the dice. Ren is not the only perspective through which this story unfolds. We also follow Lee, a bot mechanic, and his service bot New. New joins Lee on each of his contract jobs, carrying tools in its rectangular, trash can-shaped body, zooming about on its 4 articulated legs. Lee's specialty is neural nets, and in his off hours, during restless, lonely nights, he works on New, testing custom code, improving his friend. Like a gambler returning to the table, back to roll the dice. Humanity has spread its tendrils to every corner of the solar system, much in the way it's ever claimed anything left unguarded, voraciously and without compunction. A solar system-wide information network known as the Grid permeates the vacuum of space, and Ren is not the only one whose body is riddled with implants like symbiotic vines through flesh. In this story, in our future, in our present, it could be said reality has 3 domains. The unvarnished sight of the eye unaided, the alluring veneer of augmented vision, and the immersive deep dive of a virtual world. Their fingers on a slider, they can't keep away, like a gambler returning to the table. This book is about what it means to be alive, as we follow a woman losing her humanity while at the same time bots are gaining their own. It is about the human condition and how it just might not be so unique to humanity after all. And how hubris, it seems, is a sword we can't help but to fall on. If that sounds like an intriguing read to you, links are below. So, what's this channel going to be from now on? I can't keep writing a new novel for each video, right? As much as I wish I could, I think even Brandon Sanderson might struggle with such a thing. No, as I alluded to in the beginning, this channel is going to be similar in intent to my blog, an exploration of the latest in the world of sci-fi fantasy that I've consumed. There are some topics that lend themselves well to the written word, and others to the spoken. For the former, it goes on the blog, and for the latter, it will go here. I might also put more readings of my writings. I've always been a big fan of oral storytelling, of how much depth and nuance the speaker can add through their performance. As old a practice as reading a book for oneself is, gathering around a talented orator is a practice much older still. It can add a social aspect to an otherwise very personal experience. Now, I make no claim as to being a talented speaker myself, but hopefully with this I can practice and improve. As far as the schedule or frequency of video releases is concerned, it's hard to say. I put out a blog post monthly, and I'm hoping to increase that frequency in the coming months, but blog posts are much less time-consuming than videos. At this point, my dream of making a living off my writing isn't yet a reality, and so I spend the workday plunking away on a keyboard in my role as a reliability engineer. But I can say the goal is a monthly video, perhaps at the second week of the month with a blog post every 4th week. That's the goal. We'll see how it goes. Like most things in life, I'm just trying to learn as I muddle my way through. I think that's about it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I wish you a new story to be experienced and an experience worth a good story. Till next time.